Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legacy Owners Live. We are so happy that you have actually decided to join us today as we discuss some very exciting topics. Every week, we come live to you to discuss charitable giving and how to live well and leave a legacy. I am actually going solo today because Kale is actually going to a concert, and we'll excuse her for that. But we're very excited to be here with you and discuss the legacy you guys are all trying to leave. And so today we're going to be talking and continuing our discussion about year-end giving. And a common gift that we get often at the year end is real estate. And real estate a lot of times can be a little confusing to people. The process in which you do things does matter with real estate and with a lot of appreciated assets. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit in detail. But before we begin, don't forget to comment any kind of questions or concerns that you might have that we might be able to answer for you live on this show. So we're watching that closely. I'm going to kind of try and do everything here, but should be a fun and exciting show for you today. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about donating real estate. Do people actually donate real estate? And the answer is yes. In fact, a lot of people donate real estate. And we're going to go over things like, who does that kind of thing? Who donates real estate? Why would you donate that, real estate? What kind of real estate can you donate? And when can you donate it? And how can you donate it? And so we're going to go over that in detail and answer maybe some anticipated questions that you guys may have throughout the show. All right, so let's first go ahead and discuss who donates real estate. Donating real estate is can be pretty common. It's not who you think it would be. A lot of people who do donate real estate are those, first of all, who have it and can donate it. But it's not like only real estate investors or real estate agents donate real estate. I've seen what people would call the average mom and pop kind of donate real estate, but also real estate investors and financial advisors working with their clients. They donate real estate for various reasons. And it can really just be anyone who has, first off, charitable intent. They may be looking for some kind of tax savings, and how you donate that and where you donate that can affect those tax savings. And so that's something that we go over with each individual to discuss individually to kind of see what the situation is. A lot of times when donating real estate, you want to make sure that there's no debt on the property. If you do have debt, that can also be something that can be taken care of as well. You can donate the equity of the real estate instead of, the mortgaged portion of it. And then when the property sells, the mortgaged part can be bought off during the sale of that, and then the equity portion, those funds from the equity can be donated. So if you have like a $1 million property and 50% of it is paid off, we'll just keep it real simple, right? If you want to donate that real estate with that $500,000 mortgage, right, you would donate the $500,000 of equity to charity, keep the $500,000 of the mortgage portion. That way, when it sells and it splits off, this part goes over to the charity portion, this part goes to you, and then you use that to pay off the mortgage. And so just because you may have debt on the property is not going to stop you from donating that real estate. Okay, and that also kind of brings us into what kind of real estate can be donated, right? And it's really any kind, residential, commercial, agricultural, no matter what kind of real estate that it is, it can be donated. And so we've had condos, we've had houses, we've had farmland. There's really any kind of real estate, as long as it can be appraised and valued, it can be donated. Now, what if you wanted to donate just the mineral rights rather than maybe the house that's actually on the property, right? There's a lot of different ways to go and sell and donate real estate, just like there's a bunch of different ways to buy and sell real estate. And so when you look at mineral rights, water rights, even air, I don't know if it's called like air rights, but the part above the air or above the property to a certain height, those things can be donated as long as it can be appraised and given value. It can be donated. So okay, so now let's talk about why. Why would people donate real estate? It can be very valuable, and that's exactly why people would want to donate it. Okay, so there's, first off, people are charitable. They want to, live well, leave a legacy, and they want to be able to skyrocket their giving. Okay, and this can be something that you sell off real estate. It goes into your charitable fund, whether it's your own nonprofit, your program fund with legacy, or a donor advice fund, or a split interest gift that we've been talking about, like crypto, or I'm sorry, not cryptocurrencies, but charitable remainder trust, charitable lead trust, pooled income funds. People can donate into those objects, but they donate into those things so that they can actually fund their charitable intent. Okay. And there's two things: they fund their charitable intent, and they also get tax savings. And we can run estimates about what kind of tax savings that there might be. But also, when we take those funds, we can invest those funds into more real estate, or we can invest them into other assets that would grow over time. But then that makes that fund, that giving, last much longer, right? And so, especially if you're wanting to leave a legacy and you want it to go beyond, first generation, second generation, third generation, and beyond even the third generation cycle, which we've talked about before, you want to make sure that, that stays funded. And so investing donated funds to make sure that they have that perpetuity that just keeps going on and on and on is very valuable to people. And that's why they would actually donate real estate. They can donate it to sell off right away, which is what most people do. They might even donate real estate and then hold it and actually run a program with that real estate. Okay, so if you wanted to run some kind of, something that comes to mind actually is a farmland that's being donated, right? And you're wanting to use the farmland for charitable purposes. Maybe you're donating the crop or something like that. Or maybe you're trying to teach youth how to farm. Okay. And so you run a program on the property that's actually donated. Okay. And that can actually be another reason why you donate the real estate. And then after a certain amount of time, you can liquidate it. You can do all sorts of stuff, or you can even change the deed and have deed restrictions on the property so that the property cannot be used for anything else. Okay. Unless it sells or anything else like that. So, there's a lot of things that you can do when you donate that kind of real estate. All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, let's see, we just talked about the kinds of real estate that can be. All right. So let's talk about where it can be donated. Okay. Where can you donate real estate? Well, the answer is pretty much anywhere. You can have real estate in South America and want to donate it. And it gets a little tricky when you get international, but it can be done. Right? There's a lot of talk, and there may be a lot more overhead and costs with that, just because we usually have to hire an attorney down in a country in which you're selling it, the state, the county sometimes, of which you're selling it, to make sure that the property sells correctly, and also that it fulfills the charitable intent and fulfills, what qualifies for a charitable donation, either in that country, but also, depending on the situation, if you're wanting to get a tax deduction here, a tax deduction there, things can really, really change and get a little sticky. As far as donating within the United States, it really varies from state to state and even county by county. We've had donations come in where it's extremely easy. You donate to the charity then either sells or holds the property depending on the charitable intent. And then we just change the recordings and hire a realtor and sell off the property. In other counties, in certain states, which I'm thinking you might be able to guess what kind of state this is or where this state is, but even the county can have such restrictions and such fees. It may not make sense to donate the property because it really damages the donation depending on which county and state you're donating in. And so it's really important to talk to a charitable planner, like people here at Legacy, also financial advisors and real estate professionals, to kind of see exactly what kind of fees may be involved when you're donating real estate. But any kind of real estate, anywhere can pretty much be donated if the if the cause is correct, and or if the cause is right, and you're really wanting to have that charitable intent. So we've also had people donate time within the house. So one that comes to mind was a program that we ran where people donated the use of the house certain times of the year so that they could run a program in teaching youth, right? Where depending on where this house was located and what the purpose of the charitable mission was, people donated the time of use of the home. So you're not necessarily always getting rid of the property completely, but also maybe just giving it up for a certain amount of time. And that can be really in the details there. And we want to make sure that we're talking to the right professionals on donating assets like that. Okay. All right. So when would you want to donate real estate? Well, pretty much anytime. A lot of times it's happening at the end of the year because a lot of people are looking at, how much money they made this year, how much they're going to have in tax liability, and maybe they're wanting to donate real estate. And so they, just like any other appreciated asset, they're wanting a lot of times that tax savings, which is the silver lining, but it's not really the main purpose why people donate the real estate. But it's a silver lining to kind of save on, capital gains tax and the like. And so you want to make sure that you give ample time before the end of the year in donating real estate, because there's a lot of things that go on. We have to, notarize and file deeds, and sometimes the counties can be backed up, especially, in times of like coronavirus or something like that, where it may take a little extra time to donate property. And so you want to make sure you have ample time to make sure that you can donate it before the year end. And that kind of leads into our last segment, is how can you donate real estate? Okay. And donating real estate, the process, it's important. And so you may want to write this down if you can, but donating real estate, you want to make sure that you do not have anything signed, like a contract or any kind of pledge or anything like that in real estate, because that can damage the gift. Okay, it can void the gift completely, actually. And so you can have a buyer, what's called a buyer waiting in the wings. Okay, and you can have word of mouth, hey, we're going to sell this property to you, but we're going to donate it to charity, and the charity is going to sell it to you. Okay, and so that part is actually very important. And then what you want to do is you want to get an appraisal. And with real estate, depending on the market, you want to make sure that the appraisal is not too old, but soon enough to where when the gift is given. So typically within, 6 months is what I would say. But, you're going to have that appraiser sign an IRS form. And that IRS form is Form 8283. And all that form is saying, for the third party, so the charity can't sign it, the people selling the property can't sign it. It's a third party, independent completely of the deal, that comes in and says, yes, this property appraised for this amount, and this is the kind of property that it is. And then they just sign it. And the whole purpose of the 8283 is for an audit. If an IRS auditor came in and said, hey, it says you had a tax deduction here of, $536,000. It says it was real estate. So let's take a look at the appraisal and the 8283. Okay. And they're going to look at the appraisal, the appraiser, and the certification that they have, because this is real estate. And also the 8283. And then that's where they can ensure that the deduction sticks to your taxes. Right. And so you want to make sure that you have that 8283, and you want to pay for that. But those who pay for the appraisal get the appraisal. Okay. So a lot of times we want the seller to get the appraisal so that we can have that on the charity side. The donor can have that with their own personal records as well, in case for whatever reason that there was an IRS audit. And that really kind of makes that deduction more concrete and easier to defend in case an auditor comes and wants to invalidate any kind of gift or anything like that with the real estate. And so that is pretty much donating real estate in a nutshell. And so if you have any questions, be sure to contact us at Legacy Global. You guys can also go over to Legacy Owners Live to make sure that you are registered for every event here that we go live on. And we can talk about more topics that are more interesting to you. Now, as far as going out and finding real estate to be donated for your fund, if you guys have questions on that and you want us to do a separate live show on that as well, definitely let us know. We are more than willing to answer those kinds of questions as well. Until then, I don't see any questions or anything like that in the comments. So be sure to go to Legacy Owners Live, register for the next event. We do this every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Arizona time, and we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.